What's going down, everybody? It is Monday, March 24th, and we are going to get you a mock draft for Mock Draft Monday. So I'm going to do a full 7-round San Francisco 49ers mock draft using the PFF mock draft simulator. And I'm just going to kind of show you the process that goes into my thinking when it comes to building out a mock draft. Now, this won't be my official mock draft 4.0 that is currently loading, but I wanted to get you a mock draft today. So let's get in there and see what we come out with on the other side. So as I mentioned, I don't necessarily agree with PFF's rankings altogether, and they've been doing some kind of interesting stuff. So we're going to see how this plays out when the 49ers are on the board at 11. So very interesting here. Abdul Carter goes 1, Cam Ward 2, Mason Graham 3, Ashton Genty 4, Travis Hunter 5, Barron 6, Will Campbell 7, Jihad Campbell, Warren Green in consecutive order, which leaves Tet McMillan, Armand Membo, Will Johnson, Luther Burden, James Pierce, tons of options. Now, because of all these options, this makes a number 11 a tantalizing trade back spot. But for the sake of this mock, I'm going to stick with the original pick, and we're going to go off the board as the board comes to us. Now, I don't think this player is probably going to be here. It's going to be a challenge to see if he will be available, but he's here, so we're taking him. And I'm going Armand Membo out of Mizzou. I mean, you talk about one of the biggest money makers of the entire draft process. Armand, I mean, when I got into his tape and I watched him against Georgia and Michael Williams, he was dominant. And he's dominant in a way where it's athletic ability combined with technical prowess. So not only does he have fantastic physical tools and measurables, but he really does have the technical element that you need to play on the offensive line, especially at tackle. So he's a guy that I'm going to take. And the logic here is you take a tackle. If we stick him at right tackle with the San Francisco 49ers, then maybe in that instance, you are kicking Colton McKivitz over to left guard, which I actually do believe would be his best spot to play on the offensive line, but we'll see how it ultimately plays out. So, I mean, we got Armand Membo at 11. I think 49er fans would be thrilled. I would be thrilled as well, but that hasn't fixed the 49ers defensive line. There are other positions that the 49ers could potentially be interested in, whether it's running back, cornerback, potentially. And again, I'm just looking at the way it's playing out. Some guys that are standing out to me. I like Knight, but I don't like Knight enough to take him here. Trey Amos, cornerback, out of Ole Miss, is one that is very intriguing. Maxwell Harrison as well. He's a phenomenal tester and really shows well in coverage. And we saw Nick Imanwari absolutely ball out in regards to the scouting combine and how he tested. Fan favorite Cam Scadaboo right here. But if I'm going to do this, I got to think of where the 49ers need help. And where they potentially still need help is, if we're going best player available, you have Landon Jackson here. I don't know if I'm sold on Landon Jackson enough to take him right here. And I think I can go with other edge rushers later. So I think I'm really thinking between cornerback and safety based on best player available. You have Shamar Turner at defensive tackle as well. I don't know if we're going to get the D tackles we want. If we go back and see who was taken, TJ Sanders is a guy that I absolutely love at pick 43 because I do believe he is a true 3-down interior defensive tackle, but he's gone. So I got to play the board. I think in this instance, I think you take, if you're really looking at it, and you have Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown, we don't really know, and you have a talent of Nick Imanwari, I think you have to seriously consider it. He just is an athletic freak, 6'3", 227 pounds. He's only 21 years old. He's been compared to Cam Chancellor just based on his ability. He can play in the box. He can tackle well. He can come downhill. He can do all those different types of things. So this isn't a guy that I've drafted here because I don't think he will be here, but he's here in this mock. So we're going to take him. We'll see how it all bears out. Again, like I said, I don't agree with a lot of the rankings here, but we got to do what we got to do. We're treating this like this is really the board and how the chips are falling. So that leads us to a potential of where we want to go next. And I think we have to address the defensive line sooner rather than later. But I think based on how the board is playing out, I still think we can get a solid edge at 100 or 113. So I'm going to see if we can either find a defensive tackle or maybe a wide receiver, or do we go center potentially? Because we do have, let's see, let's think this thought process out. We took Armand Membo, so we got tackle. So at 11, he's starting. So he's either starting at right tackle or is he starting at left guard? Those are the two options. Let's say he's starting at right tackle. We're kicking, in that instance, Colton's got to play. So I'm kicking him to left guard. Ben Barch competing at center with Jake Brendel, Nick Sikel. Could they go Jared Wilson at center? They could potentially. He would definitely be a guy that I'm thinking about taking here. But I also could go center later as well. So I think I gotta stick to the BPA situation. Josiah Stewart is interesting. Don't know if I love him enough to take him there. I think right now it's coming down between Jordan Phillips and Trey Harris. Trey Harris is a big-bodied wide receiver. He's going to make a ton of phenomenal catches. He has great length. He's not going to be the quickest or fastest wide receiver, but he is a skilled wide receiver. But then you got Jordan Phillips, who I think is a really, really good interior defensive tackle. He's a guy that has shot up boards. I mean, you could see when he started this process, I think I took him in mock 1.0 in the 7th round because I'm like, why is he here? There's no way that this guy's a 7th round prospect. And you can see how the trends have jumped since he had a great Shrine Bowl performance. And considering that the 49ers need defensive tackles, I think I'm going to go here. I think I'm going to go Jordan Phillips. And I think that fills a need. He is a guy that I think can be a disruptor, whether in the passing game or run game. So I take him there. Jordan Phillips out of Maryland at pick 75. But like I said, we still need edge players and we need edge help. But there is a lot of depth here. So we're kind of kicking the can down the curb. And it kind of allows us to decide where we want to go here. You have Jeffrey Bossa, who the 49ers, we saw, who was it? It was John Lynch at the Oregon Pro Day talking to Bossa. He's a guy who fits the weak side linebacker role. So he could definitely be an option. Femi Oladejo is a guy that I really, really like as well. But I'm going to see if I can potentially target him at 113. So let's see what we could go BPA here. Ooh, if we're going BPA and we want to add some weaponry to the mix, maybe a another option for Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers offense, Harold Fannin Jr. is an interesting one. I mean, you look at his production on 150 targets, he put up over 1,500 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns. He was the most productive tight end in FBS football last year. You can see as the most forced missed tackles in first place, tied for second with deep catches, deep yards, third with 333 contested catches, tied for fourth. And he's a pretty solid tight end option who could definitely be someone who could learn from George. You have the 49ers who signed a blocking tight end. Maybe you go and you draft a guy with more of a knack for catching the football. I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to be able to get some good talent later on. So let's see here. We're going to go Fannin here just because I can't pass on the upside. Oh, and then there's more options. So now this is where we got to decide, do we finally go edge and do I get my guy? I think I do. I think I have to go. I can't kick the can any further down. I know Jeffrey Bossa is sitting there, but I think you guys know of an option that I like at linebacker that I will also look at. So some will want me to go Bossa here. I think I got to go with my guy, and that is Femi Oladejo. He's a former off-ball linebacker, converted to edge after only one season. You can see just in one season off the edge, he was able to produce 7 sacks, 19 hurries. But he is a versatile piece. He's a guy that I got to see up close and personal at the Senior Bowl, and I could tell that 49ers defensive coach KJ Wright and Oladejo, they vibed quite well. So this is going to be a guy that I think I am going to take right here. I'm a big fan of this guy, so I really like the fit. And that gives us an opportunity to go elsewhere. So we got let's take a look at who we selected. We got a right tackle of the future, potentially left guard, depending on how the 49ers would maneuver this, but he would be starting. So a starter on the offensive line with Membo. Getting Nick Imonwuri in the second round would be one of the biggest steals in the draft. He immediately plugs in as a starting safety next to Malik Mustafa. Jordan Phillips, day one starter as a defensive line. Harold Fannin Jr. would be a rotational piece. Femi Oladejo would get a lot of reps year one. That's for sure. And now we got to decide where we want to go from here to continue to build out our roster, because as we know, the 49ers are going to need a lot of contributors on through the draft in order to get something done. So let's take this a little bit further. And there's a ton of running backs stacking up right here. And we do know that the 49ers traded away Jordan Mason. They do have a guy that we like, Isaac Garendo, very much. And you can see there's a lot of running back and skill position stacking up here. So let's see. I think this might be prime running back territory. And I think that the running back that the 49ers are going to have their eyes on are Bashal Tootin. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He had over 1,100 rushing yards last season, 15 touchdowns on the ground, which is pretty darn solid. And one of the things that I know Kyle will like about this guy is he's a sub 4.4 guy. He's pretty fast. He's fast. He's a good zone runner. He's a guy who has great vision, great explosive ability. And even though he's on the smaller side, he's a pretty solid back, and I think he would fit exactly what the 49ers are looking for. So I'm going to have the 49ers go Tootin right here. And let's see who is available. So we got some weapons. We got a running back, we got a tight end, we got some trenches. So I'm either looking at trenches or a potential wide receiver here. Obviously, the 49ers currently still have uh, he's still on the roster, and that's Brandon Ayuk. You still have Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, first round draft pick, going to be ascending into a bigger spot. Obviously, no Debo Samuel here. You still have Jacob Cowling on the roster. And the 49ers made a signing in free agency to Marcus Robinson and a guy who's kind of underrated, Isaiah Hodgins, on the roster. So, and they got Tariq Owens amongst other guys. So I don't think it's necessarily a big rush to go wide receiver, but it could definitely be an option. But I see a guy that I don't think should be here. I think he should be a top 100 pick. But if he's here, I'm going Tyler Barron out of Miami. He's a player that I really love to watch on film. To me, he has the prototypical size that you're looking for, 6'5", 260 pounds. He's played a lot of football. He formerly was Tennessee Vol, and then he transferred. He's produced pretty well. You can see going from Tennessee with 6 sacks to Miami with 10. He has look. You can see the hurries are pretty consistent over his career, and he is to me, he should be a top 100 pick. I don't think Barron should be this low, but we're playing the board as if it's real, and so I'm taking him, and that's why I felt comfortable punting on edge until later because I feel like I still got some solid ones. Tyler Barron and Oladejo, I think, are a good complement, and that would also allow me to find another defensive tackle later if I wanted to. But let's see how the board has continued to play out. So the 49ers, they still need a linebacker. The guy that I want is so far buried, it's not even funny. I'm just going to take him because he shouldn't be this late. There goes Teddy Buchanan. I know there's some other good linebacker prospects as well that are still on the board. A guy that I would consider here, Kobe King, Danny Stutzman, potentially, Jay Higgins, but I got to go with my guy, Teddy Buchanan. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know that I've been hyping him up quite a bit. So I'm going Teddy right there in the 5th round. They're probably going to give me an F for that reach, but I'm going. And I'm going to go with another one of my guys. Again, I don't agree with this ranking. I do believe he will be a probably 4th to 5th round pick. But if he's here in the 7th round, Jackson Slater is one of the easiest selections I've made of my life. Big fan of Jackson Slater. Got to see him up close and personal. Actually got to interview him at the Senior Bowl. He's a guy that I'm definitely high on, and I think could definitely be a starting center eventually in this league. So we're actually kind of building out, and we're filling a lot of the holes on the 49ers roster, but there are a couple more that I think we need to get to. I mean, the 49ers have added a lot of DBs, so I don't know if we need to go DB again. I'm probably going to look towards the defensive line with these last couple picks here. Doing a quick run through, and then we're going to circle back. All right, so I'm going to go D line because I think we could still get some good value here later. So this is what we're going to do. Howard Cross is a intriguing prospect. You can see his 2023 season was much better in regards to overall grade and hurries. Kind of took a step back a little bit, at least in some of the production. But he's a guy that, you're getting him this late, 6'1", 288, a bit smaller. You can see at one point he was going pretty high up, and then he's fallen in the rankings. But I think he's worth a shot on the defensive line. We need someone. So we're going to add some depth here to the D line. And then maybe we can see who is left for BPA. Again, I don't agree with a lot of these rankings, but they are what they are, and we're treating them like if this is the real draft, and this is how the board has fallen to us. So let's see. Anyone else that stands out that I would feel like would be a good selection? I'm gonna go Arian Smith here. He's a guy, he doesn't look great at all. Production wise, he had 800 receiving yards last year on 48 receptions, 4 touchdowns. It's solid production. But you can see it's a big jump from what he did the previous 2 years. He's a guy who just kind of stood out to me a little bit at the Senior Bowl. I thought he made some plays. I think in the game he didn't. He made a couple plays that weren't that great, but I'm gonna go with them anyways, just to take a shot, see what happens. All right, so this is our mock draft. We address offensive line with Armen Membo at 11, Nick Imanwari at 43. We go Jordan Phillips out of Maryland at 75, Harold Fanning Jr. at 100, Oluwafemi Oladejo at 113. We take Bishal Tootin in the 4th round, Tyler Barron Steele in the 5th. You can see the F grade they give me for my Teddy Buchanan pick. I don't care. I love it. Jackson Slater gave me an A. It's because he's a 5th round prospect. 5th to, I'd say 4th to 5th for Slater, in my opinion. Harold Cross, I give us a B plus. Aaron Smith, C plus. You can grade my mock draft below. You kind of see how my brain works when it comes to putting these together. Let me know what you think. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.